Hey, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. And now I'm with Mr. Allan Belcher, one half of the main event Friday here, Gamebred Bareknuckle FC. Allan, you're taking on Roy Nelson. We're only a couple days away from the contest. What is the mindset? What's the thought process right now?
Man, the thought process is to just stay focused. Yeah, just stay focused, man. So this is a big step in my career. It's coming back to MMA. So I'm definitely nervous. I'm definitely feeling the pressure. Can't lose. Have to knock him out. So I'm dialed in on that, man. I accept it where I am in this part of the journey, and I'm getting very comfortable at being in these uncomfortable situations, so chasing titles and working at a championship level is just a different level of the mind. So I'm just learning and developing as I go, so it's a couple days out. My mind is already there. I find that I'm getting there earlier in my mental, yeah, feels good.
There's quite a few Mississippi guys on the card,
Yeah.
Some guys that you train with, Jason Knight, Brandon Davis, Chase Sherman, a bunch of them. What does that add to fight week for you?
So having Jason, Chase, Brandon, Tyler, all these guys on the card, Mike, it's really brought us together, brought the energy together. We've been doing this for a long time, so we've all been at different camps and came home, and we've had camps at different places, and we've helped each other train throughout the years and taught each other different things, and but this is it's cool. All of us being here, being on the same card together, allows us to all focus the energy in the same direction, and all the guys have kind of really got behind that idea, so all the energy going towards it. And one thing about our team and this group of guys that you've seen that come out of this area that we train together is we have been able to go into bare knuckle boxing and bare knuckle MMA and be successful. A lot of it has to do with the heart and the passion and the honest truth that we're all warriors, and that's what bare knuckle MMA really brings out. Is you have to be an athlete, you have to be, agile, and you have to be a smart fighter. But there's a missing element there. Whenever you take the gloves off, it's just more dangerous. So you have to be smart, you have to be a good fighter, but you also have to have a level of bravery and able to face fear. Especially when you get hurt with the bare knuckle, you get cut with the bare knuckle, it's different, So I'm excited to see what everybody can do. It's a really tough bunch of guys, and I think that the group of guys that we were just talking about, that we all train together, are all just built for this. So I see us starting to take it over.
So you found a lot of success in bare knuckle boxing especially. Now you're going to bare knuckle MMA. How do you think this transition is going to go? What drew you to the concept of MMA bare knuckle?
So it just led to here, really. The bare knuckle boxing wasn't my dream until it became part of the path to keep going. So I decided to come back to fighting, and so we just decided to go that route, do the 4 fights with bare knuckle, win the belt, do boxing matches in between. And it's not that I chose one sport over the other. It's just that's what's makes sense at that time, and everything has led up to this point. And I knew that I was going to come back to MMA as I built myself back up in the public eye and got more media exposure and grew and just became relevant again and won a belt and those types of things. I knew that it would lead to bigger paydays, and some of these bigger paydays and these bigger exposures and things that just really have more impact. It's a bigger possibility of being something like an MMA fight, So I've never canceled that out, and I've wanted to as like my just to kind of solidify my legacy and bucket list type of thing. Is I wanted to do MMA again for sure. So now it's led to this, and it just makes so much sense. So I get to do that, but also get to chase another title, beat Roy Nelson, and fight JDS. So, yeah, I feel like I'm right where I need to be.
You know, you've been in combat sports for a very long time, and, 15, 20 years ago, it just wasn't where it was at now. The money wasn't as good. There weren't as many different shows. I mean, now, obviously, Jorge Masvidal, he has a plethora of different shows. 20 years ago, did you think or envision that MMA and combat sports would get this huge?
I feel like I had a big vision for it, which is why I decided to dedicate myself to it, and of course I justified that too, that I was making the right decision and going for it, because when I decided to be full time and go for UFC, there wasn't immediate money there, right? And even at the championship level, it wasn't as big as a lot of things that someone can do as far as financially, but I knew that I saw the vision for it. I saw where it was going. I knew the way that it made me feel, and I knew that there was something inside of me that everybody has, and they just they'll see it eventually, So I saw that the sport was going that way, and we're still not anywhere close to where we are. At some point, fighting, whether it be mixed martial arts or whatever, but fighters will be the highest paid athletes and the most admired athletes around the globe. So that's, how far are we away from that? It's happening. It's rapidly happening. The momentum is going. I think the bare knuckle MMA is a big part of that. It could potentially be the pinnacle of fighting, because it's the most limited rule set with a limited amount of padding and protection, where in the future, I think my vision, and I think Dean and Jorge's vision, is that the gloves will be more of a lower level, and then the non-gloved fights will be reserved for the higher paydays. It only makes sense. The higher paydays right now, the highest paydays right now are with gloves, gloved boxing and with MMA. But if you could take the gloves off of those guys, it would be more exciting, right? And it would be more realistic. And a lot of those guys wouldn't be the champions, and they wouldn't be the superstars. But I think everyone wants to find out. And now that we know all the science behind it, and how, in terms of how safe it is, or the differences in it, it's kind of this scary thing until you start to look at it and realize that the concussions are not any different. The safety of it is not really concerned. The gloves don't do a whole lot except for allow the person to carelessly throw as hard as they can, right? Which really doesn't do that much difference, And a lot of the hits, if I hit you as hard as I can in the head, it may give you a concussion, but you still don't go to sleep, and I might break my hand, or I might do something like that. With the bare knuckle, with perfectly placed timed punch, the person could just lights out, and they wake up and they're okay. And the concussion actually isn't as bad. So as we develop further, science is going to show that with the bare knuckle is actually going to be safer long term, but it's still scarier. It's still scarier to someone, because they can feel it and they can see it, and it's right in front of you. It's like they have knives that they're fighting you with. So the mental game is what we like about sports anyways. We like to see a team or an army going against another army, or a one-on-one battle between two people, and it's realistic, and you want to see them face the fear, right? It's watching a sport where there's no pressure, there's no fear, it's just watching people play and have fun, and that's not that exciting. The thing we like about professional sports is all the pressure and all the fear and all the money on the line and all the pride on the line and all those types of things. So that is where we're going in the future. This will be the pinnacle of that. And maybe it's a spiritual thing, but it's in everyone, and I think eventually that will rise to the top, and that will be the thing that you're looking for. We want to see what we're leaving behind with our society and our culture. We're leaving behind something, and we're turning into something else, but it's still inside of us. if that makes sense. Maybe I sound crazy, but it makes total sense to me. And hopefully when we watch this video in 20 years from now, it'll make a lot more sense.
All right, last question for you, Allan. In a perfect world, what goes down Friday night?
Perfect world, I wouldn't say is a fast knockout. I would like to have some challenge. I would like for Roy to show that he's in his best form and that he's serious about it and have a bit of a challenge. I like to overcome something, that way I can get more out of it than an easy knockout. But perfect world is a knockout in maybe late in the first round. My prediction, if I bet, I'm going to stop him with a TKO, maybe knock him down, hurt him, and then finish him on the ground in the second round. But it is a perfect world. So it goes the way that I think, as long as I believe it. So, we're just experiencing the reality.
That's Allan Belcher. I'm Carlo Peruzza. Stick around.